Good day, boxing fans. Saturday night in Atlantic City on the zone for those of us watching at home. It is a question of somebody's O has got to go when we have a title unification between the IBF welterweight champion of the world, Jaron Ennis, and his WBA counterpart from Lithuania, Eimantas Stanionis, the WBA champion. Plus, the ring belt will be on the line, so we can say it's number one against number two. The winner will establish himself as the best welterweight in the world, standing above the other two remaining major titleists. I think it's a great fight. I think it's a great style matchup. If you want to break down the fight with me, then stick around. Jaron Ennis, talented guy. Jaron Ennis he's speedy, he's a boxer puncher, he's a switch hitter. He can go from a southpaw to orthodox stance with ease, and he can swat. He is now 33-0 with 29 knockouts. So impressive undefeated run. He's one of the young guns of boxing, along with guys like Tank Davis, Virgil Ortiz, Shakur Stevenson, and all of those who are supposed to become the next stars of the sport. But he's been battling to get big names in the ring with him. You know, Terence Crawford moved north to junior middleweight. Now he's going to challenge Canelo Alvarez for the super middleweight title. So that's that. Virgil Ortiz is no longer in the division. He's moved north to 154 as well. So he's kind of stuck with really good fighters to fight, actually, but without big stars. And if you don't have it, how do you become a star? You clean up the division where you are in, and you keep on winning. And he is actually just on his way to doing that. But it's not going to be easy Saturday night. He's got a very live underdog in front of him, and that's Eimantas Stanionis, who's also undefeated at 15-0 with 9 knockouts for WBA champion. Now, in one of our boxing groups, my friend AC Danile, who's been around the East London scene for a very, very long time in various capacities, he's going to Betway, and he's got his money on Stanionis to spring up an upset. And sometimes Bra-Ace is right, and sometimes I'm also right. So is Eimantas Stanionis a potential banana skin for Jaron Ennis? Yes, I think he definitely is. Now, Jaron Ennis, as I've said, he can box, he can punch, he's got a very quick jab, he's got a good right hand, either from the southpaw or the orthodox stance. He's got all the punches in the book. He's a very athletic kind of guy. He's very quick, and he kind of reminds me, sort of, you know, because there's only one Roy Jones, but he reminds me a little bit of that style, in the sense that it depends on his athleticism, it depends on his quickness, it depends on his power. And when you're young, you can get away with it. You know, he fights in. He doesn't fight in a classical style, which Stanionis does. He's got his hands all over the place. And, you know, he attacks in and out and around. And his last fight wasn't a very impressive one, and that was against a rematch, actually, against Karen Chukadze, a fighter which he beat previously quite widely on points, couldn't put him away. And in the rematch, Chukadze, you could argue that he did better in the first couple of rounds. He tagged Ennis repeatedly. And to be honest, throughout the fight, eventually Ennis caught him, knocked him down. Chukadze got up, and the fight continued, and he saw out the distance. You know, I think he knocked him down. I think it was the fifth round that Ennis put Chukadze down, and Chukadze, he couldn't finish him. He recovered well, and he was in the fight right until the very end. Now there, Chukadze tagged Ennis repeatedly with left hooks, sometimes with sticky knights. But Chukadze was the same height and reach, more or less, as Ennis, and he was a guy that hit and gave him angles. He used his feet as well. He spinned around Ennis all the time, so he didn't give Ennis a stationary target. Now, is that a red light to say that Jaron Ennis is ready to be exposed, as maybe not that good? It could be, I think Chukatsian had the right idea, even though it wasn't enough to win. When you're fighting a guy that's much quicker than you time him. In other words, you hit him where you think he's going to be. So when every time Ennis punched, Chukatsian was answering back with something, and it ended up tagging him. Because when Ennis opens up with those shots, he needs leverage and he needs space for those long arms to get the power in. You know, that's what Ennis needs. And in that space, Chukatsian took advantage and landed his own shots. Now, Stanionis is a different fighter altogether than Chukatsian, so we can't go too far with Jaron Ennis' last fight. Now, Stanionis, I like him a lot. The word that comes to mind is very solid. He's a pressure fighter in a classical mode, and he's a bit of a technician as well. His technique is very good. No sloppy punches, no throwing himself off balance. He has a high work rate. He varies to the head and body. He's got a great power jab, straight jab like a piston that you'll notice when he throws his jab, Stanionis, he takes a little step with it. So he bumps you back with his jab and he keeps his opponent off balance all the time. For the rest, he's a shorter fighter, so he does move his head, but it's not Joe Frazier all the time type of thing. He moves his head, but he has this high guard. This very classical high guard that they sort of teach you when you just start in amateur boxing, chin down, hands up like that. Now, the thing with that sort of guard is you can still hit the guy. So in his last fight against Gabriel Maestre, he took a lot of shots, and a lot of his biggest fights, he was tagged, but his chin is very sturdy. He seems to just walk through the shots behind his jab, and then he goes to the head, to the body, left hook, right hand, boom, boom, to the body, upstairs, downstairs, and high work rate. So the pressure that he's put his opponent under gets him over the hill, and eventually he wins. Now, his biggest fights, he won those on points, and they were competitive fights. But Stanionis is a kind of guy that could give a guy like Jaron Ennis trouble, and all of it is going to be about the real estate, I think. Before I go on, tell me in the comments below, who do you think win, how do they win, and why do they win? So I would be interested in hearing your opinions. But that's what Stanionis does. You know, in order to be successful against Jaron Ennis as a shorter squat fighter, he's going to have to get on the inside. He can box, Stanionis. I've seen him move a little bit and box, but I don't think that's going to work for him against Jaron Ennis. If you're a shorter fighter and you want to win by boxing and moving, there are actually few guys who can do that. You know, way back in the day, Brian Mitchell could do that, and also more. I remember Ola Norris, he could do that a bit, and Antabiso Mkunu, he could do that a bit. You know, outbox the taller fighter by being on the move, but that's difficult, and I don't think Stanionis has got the feet for that quite. I can't see him in and out boxing Jaron Ennis like that. So I can only see Stanionis go and fight his usual style, which would be he'll have to jab his way in against Jaron Ennis, who's not a stationary target, but I'm sure Stanionis will hit him in the jab him in the body, jab him in the chest to get himself in. And once he is in, he needs to work him over on the inside. He needs to keep the fight on the inside, because when he's on the inside, Ennis is not going to have room for those punches except for the uppercut maybe. So he's got to work him over there and sort of step around him, work for angles, but he's going to have to keep the fight close, Stanionis, to be successful. Now for Jaron Ennis, when he opens up, you know, he doesn't cover up. And a compact guy like Stanionis, it's going to be different than Chukatsian, because Stanionis is going to have to make Ennis bend and punch up. Stanionis will have to. So it's a bit different than Chukatsian. You know, Chukatsian was on a level, on an eye level with Ennis. So Stanionis is going to have to punch up or bend down with Jaron, make Jaron Ennis bend down. So Ennis, he has to get his jab going. He has to step around Stanionis, and he's got to make Stanionis feel his power quickly. Now, what I think might work for Jaron Ennis, he's got that right hand to the body, you know, or sometimes the left hand, depending what stance he is in his second hand, but he throws like a sort of an uppercut, sort of a sweeping uppercut / hook to the body. And that's a very good body shot that he's got there. And he's got a good uppercut as well. Now, a guy of Stanionis, when he does that, you know, you may hit the gloves and the arms in the beginning, but you're going to make him tired and make him drop his hands the Rocky Marciano concept. And also you can use the one hand to sort of swipe this guard away and then come through with the other hand. And I've seen in the Gabriel Meister fight, he did have success against Stanionis with the uppercuts. So I think it's going to be a very exciting fight. I think Eimantas Stanionis is a kind of guy that can give a guy like Jaron Ennis trouble. You know, kind of thinking once again like Roy Jones towards the end of his career when he started losing. Not so much the Antonio Tarver fight, but the Glenn Johnson fight. You know, that is what Stanionis is going to have to kind of do here with Jaron Ennis. Pressure, swarm him, not give him time to think, make him pay every time, just keep him on the back foot. Now, I think that will be crucial. If Stanionis can move Jaron Ennis back, we're going to have a fight. But on the other hand, I don't think Stanionis fights that well when he's on the back foot. So if Ennis can make him feel the power, make him move back, it's Ennis's fight, in my opinion. So for Jaron Ennis, start that jab. Don't give Stanionis a chance to get confident. Don't let him build momentum. Use the jab. And I think what I've noticed with Stanionis, Maestro caught him in the body in their last fight, and he looked very uncomfortable for a while and fought through it. I think Stanionis doesn't like it in the body. He takes it better to the head when he takes it to the body. So, you know, I'm sure Jaron Ennis is going to use those uppercuts, those long whacking shots to the body. So for Ennis, use a jab, use those smashing shots to the body against Stanionis to stop the forward march. You know, that's what I think Jaron Ennis must do. Who is going to win? There are those like my friend picking Stanionis. It depends how well Stanionis can take Jaron Ennis, and if he's strong enough to keep him on the back foot, if he's physically imposing enough. And I'm not too sure about that. Stanionis has been able to move people back so far, but Jaron Ennis is a really big welterweight. He's physically strong as well, you know, and I struggle to see Stanionis pushing him back and having him uncomfortable and off balance and all of that. I think he might do it in spots. But what I think is going to happen here is I think Jaron Ennis is going to go to that body. He's going to take shots like he did there against Jaron Chukatsian. He's not going to have an easy go against Eimantas Stanionis, but he is going to find Stanionis as he marches in. So I expect Jaron Ennis to hit him to the body with those whacking shots around. And I expect Ennis to have some success with his uppercut. If Maestro could do it, so can Ennis. And I think Ennis will get caught in between the shots, but I don't think Stanionis has got the power to really put Jaron Ennis in trouble and to really put him down and make him think twice. I think he'll land his shots, but I don't think it will have enough effect on Jaron Ennis, and I think that's where the difference is going to come in. Stanionis might win rounds, but Ennis is going to hurt him to the body, I think, and then with the uppercuts, Ennis is very good when he's got a guy stunned to go off and finish him. Didn't work against Chukatsian, but my gut, I think it's going to be a very competitive fight. It's going to be a good clash of styles. I think at some point Jaron Ennis is going to break through and Stanionis will take Ennis' shots not as well as Ennis will take Stanionis' shots. That's just a sort of an eye test, because Stanionis has never really been, he's undefeated. He's never been stopped. So you've got to speculate on these things. My gut feel tells me at some point Jaron Ennis is going to break through. He's going to hurt Stanionis, and he's going to get him out of there, either by the corner or the referee saving him from himself. But I'm going Jaron Ennis TKO 9 here. That's what I think about Ennis against Stanionis. That's it from me, guys. Thank you to everybody who's subscribed. We've surpassed 1,000 subscribers. I really do appreciate that. If you haven't subscribed already, it's free. Just press that subscribe button. I will really appreciate it. And until we see each other again, remember to keep those hands.